Hello. Today we are going to talk about baby high temperatures and fevers. And this can be a really scary thing for families because nobody wants their sweet little babies to be sick. But I'm going to talk about some things that will be reassuring signs that you may notice with a baby that has a higher fever or a higher temperature, and some signs where you should be concerned and what to do in each of those instances. I'm also going to show you how to take a temperature under your baby's arm, which is our preferred method of checking a baby's temp. So let's talk about why in the world do babies get a high fever? And maybe even more importantly, what is considered a high fever? So I'm going to talk to you about the normal range of what we may see when you check a baby's temperature. A normal range could be 96.8 all the way up to 100.4. Temperatures vary. They can vary between the time of day that you take a baby's temperature. It can vary if a baby was outside and it's a little bit warmer, like it is in the summer. It can vary if a baby gets a little bit chilled in the house. So you might see a wide array of different temperatures, and that is normal. What isn't normal is when we see a temperature that is greater than 100.4. That is when we are going to think, okay, something might be going on here with our baby. So some things that might accompany a fever higher than 100.4 would be a baby who is feeling a little bit warm. So your baby feeling your baby, and it's baby feels warm to touch. That may be a reason for you to check baby's temperature. Also, if a baby has very flushed cheeks and you're just looking at your baby and she just looks like something could be going on. Flushed cheeks, you see that, you put your hand on your baby's skin and you think, oh my goodness, yeah, her skin is warmer. The other thing that could be going on is baby could have a cough, could have a runny nose. Any of those kind of symptoms going on could be associated with a fever, something that is higher than 100.4, like we talked about. If your baby is a little bit fussier, or a little bit cranky or lethargic, those are also things that could go along with all of these other symptoms, and it might be a great time for you to check a temp. So when we check a temperature, I'm going to show you how to do that now. And then I want to talk about things that are okay associated with a fever, and some things that would be some warning signs that you need to make sure and get checked out. So our preferred method of checking a baby's temp is underneath the baby's arm. So when your baby was in the hospital as a newborn, you saw your nurses check the baby's temperature very frequently. And the great thing is, it is not necessary to check frequently, but if you have any of those other symptoms associated to where you think maybe your baby has a fever, that's when this is going to come in handy. So what you're going to do is make sure that you can access underneath baby's arm. So if you just open up their little sleeper, and then your digital thermometer. So it's really awesome that digital thermometers that we have now. It's very, very simple. And what you are going to do, you're going to press the on button and then stick this thermometer underneath baby's arm, just like this. So you want to make sure the tip of this thermometer is sandwiched between the baby's arm and their chest. If you get this going a little bit too far like this, where the temp probe where it is actually monitoring is sticking out into air, so that is not going to be an accurate temp. So really make sure that that temp probe is surrounded by the baby's skin. And then you just hold your baby close, love on your baby, and wait for it to beep. And that's when you will get your temperature reading. So it's a very simple way to do. It is wonderful. You don't have to add numbers at all. When you are, if you are telling your provider about your baby's temp, all you have to do is say, this is how I took my baby's temperature. It was underneath the arm and the baby's temperature was 101.3. Now, if a baby is less than 3 months old, it is never normal to have a temperature greater than 100.4. That deems being, we need to get that checked out. So if your baby is less than 3 months old, so that newborn to 3 months old, we want you to make sure and contact your provider about a baby that has a temperature greater than 100.4. Now, if your baby is greater than 3 months old, there are some things that you can do, and we want you to check out and observe with your baby before you need to call and contact your provider. So the reassuring signs that the baby is doing okay, but just has a little bit of a elevated temperature would be this baby is generally happy and content and smiles like baby usually does. So baby is acting like she usually does. The baby is eating like she usually does. Also, how many wet diapers do we expect in a baby who is doing well? Is 6 to 8 diapers within a 24-hour period. So those are very reassuring signs. Things that are not reassuring in babies over 3 months old would be a baby that is not consolable, cry, a very high-pitched cry, which tells us that there is something wrong, something is probably hurting them. The other thing that a baby that is very difficult to wake up would be another concerning sign. We want you to contact your provider. Also, if a baby is refusing to eat or if they are lacking in wet diapers, those are things where we know that we need to get this baby checked out and would be a great time to call your provider.